Welcome to this webinar. We're going to talk about open and scalable functions for packaging machinery. My name is Magnus Bure, and I'm the product manager for the automation solution at Beijer Electronics. With me today should Paul Hindley support me with showing the demo. So today we're going to talk about what Beijer Electronics could offer in the packaging industry. Products and solutions that will help you to get the good result that you're looking for. And I'm going to show you the demo, how this looks like and how it looks in our Codesys environment. Let's start what Beijer could offer for you in the packaging industry. Some figures before. When you're doing a machine, you always have one part is to creating the drawings, the mechanical stuff, welding the machine and assembling together. That is roughly 50% of the project. The rest is, of course, you need to make a program, how it runs. You have some integration of IoT stuff, ink printer, barcode reader, and ERP system, and much more, of course. You also have an aftermarket that is support and maintenance of your customer. And what trends are affecting the machine builder? Of course, the time to market. If we could cut down the 50% that on the slides before to 35, that is a huge amount of money for you and your customer. So the time to market is very important. Another trend is to use the IoT and the connected society. You would like to have your alarms on your mobile phone, your HTML5 screens in your computer or in your iPad. The importance of the big data, of course, we store huge amount of data from your machine to make analysis and reports in the future. When we connect the machines to the IoT and internet, the cybersecurity is a big demand from our customer. And we solve that with our Corenix portfolio in a very good way. And also the remote access to update and maintain your machine and add new functions. Another big trend is we talk more about open system. That means your machine builder and our customer mix and match the hardware from different supplier. They take the barcode reader from one supplier, the vision integration from a third supplier, and maybe use our HMIs and controls. And that's the same environment. And more focus on software. Our customer are needed and need reports, analytics, and of course with action that makes application better in the future. Alarm distribution, and of course alarm analysis. The packaging also have different needs when you put it in a factory line, for example, machine-to-machine integration. If you have a sealing machine in the middle, you also have some machine before and machine after. And they need to talk to each other, and we can do that in a very good way with our Box 2 solution. The communication, of course, you need to talk with ERP system and cloud, and that is done by MQTT or OPC UA. Your customer and our customer also need remote access, as I told you before, and that is for update and maintain the machine globally. We also need to provide tested solutions for example, for a motion library to run our drives. You will have the IoT integration, but also the smart engineering resources that could contain small function library that helps you to integrate different accessories inside the machine. And this one is released today in our smart store, so you could find and download a very easy function library to run our drives, our fast logging that is shown later, and much more. And that is a growing part. And of course, the simulation of the whole solution. You could test everything before you send out your machine globally, so everything works. We have worked with packaging since, I should say, early 90s, and we have very good knowledge in the bottle filling machines, sealings, the labeling of your products, and also the palletizing. And this is a very good way, and we have very good solution for this to help you with your machine and your application. What is driving the market? IT people are more and more involved, and that means to choose the platform for running the SCADA systems, running the platform for IoT, but also using the services for your customers. They also have a good user management, and they also drive and responsible for the communication from the OT side to the IT side. Moving towards to open standards like the MQTT and OpenC UA, that is a game changer. More and more people are connected in a secure way, and the right people have to talk with the right equipment. But a next standard is also HTML5 that enables you to run your HMIs or your screen in your mobile phone or in your tablet. And of course, faster time to market. The machine earns money when they're placed at the field. And we help you a lot with our smart engineering resources. That is our small snippet to help you to integrate things and set up functions in your codices or IX environment. What product you have and solutions to help you to get the result you are looking for? We have a very powerful portfolio and a more complete supplier for automation control. We have controls and HMIs from small to very big. You're using codices, of course. We have inverters that could be run in motion or standalone. We also have the BSD server drives with our templates and framework for having them up and running. Also, and remote eye to catching signals in your machine. And the goal is mix and match the need of your machine, put that together and have it up and running in a very fast way. Another good way is we could support the whole package from the signal to the control, HMI, and the SCADA or in the cloud. We also have locally high-skilled field application engineers that helps you with small function, glue application, and training, and you can get up and running very fast. And you have the same environment for doing all the programming inside the BCS tools. These tools can also be downloaded by the Smart Store free of charge. Next question is how to support your customer in a good way and a very fast way. Today we need to reduce the travel depending on different viruses around the world. And we have very good solutions for that. You could log into our portals, you grant access for the devices, and you could update program, update IX, update codices, and also have maintenance of the program and update with new functions. A very good way is you decide the role of your user in the portal. And that means if you are a system owner, you could maybe only look on the HMIs. If you are a system operator, you have access to more things and change maybe. Or if you are a maintenance or an integrator, you have full access with a secure communication to do whatever you are as you are in the same place. So this is very good to update and fine-tune your machine and make it faster and better. So now I'm going to start the demo of codices. The goal is to show how in good way to write data to an inkjet printer in this case, and use the same function to read from a barcode. And we're going to show how to use a recipe in a good way if you're a machine builder. So let's do that.
Hello, I'm Paul Hindley, Application Engineer at Bioelectronics. A Smart Engineering resource is a modular software created by RFAEs. They've been developed and tested in-house in direct response to customers' requests. They're available to download from our Smart Store, and their aim is to save you the 50% time that Magnus mentioned. They can be treated as a black box. They're delivered as compiled libraries, which protects you, the customer, as in you can't tinker with it, and they protect us, the supplier, for exactly the same reason. The first one I'd like to look at is TCP client, which can be used to connect code assist to third-party pieces of kit. To give you a quick example, This was a VideoJet laser marker that I've had to interface to recently. And if I scroll down through the manual under protocol, in this area here, it might be nice to see EtherCAT or CANopen or Ethernet IP or one of the preferred field buses, but it's just saying I'm a server client application. And if we scroll a bit further down, this is roughly the syntax that the device needs. So it's a command, some arguments for the command, a carriage return, and a line feed. So it's essentially passed over TCP. So how do we achieve that? We've created libraries to do just this. So I'm going to bring in a TCP client library. So that is now available in your application to use. And there aren't many blocks. The idea is that these blocks are small, agile, very nimble. They do one job and they do that one job very well. So under there, we've got 3 function blocks, FTP client, and then the limiter is just a helper to assist in delimiting, comma separated, and relimiting, comma separated. So we'll go to our blank project, insert an empty box, FTP client, and I will call it FBI client. And IP address. So basically, this should be fairly intuitive as to the parameters it needs now. I'm using this to test it, to demonstrate it, which is a little setup utility from a company called Hercules. So this is just a TCP server, and it's listening on port 20,000. So I'm going to program this end of things to talk to that. So the IP address of that server is like that. Port number 20,000. The client type can be synchronous or non-synchronous, or requesting and non-requesting. So I'm going to make this one a requesting client. So I prompt it. And the request here, we have a look, hover over there, the tooltip is showing us it's a data type string. So that would be a variable in the real world. And I'll just make it the ubiquitous hello world. Right, so in doing nothing else, I will now download that application to the X2 control. Okay, I click run, put that into lesson mode, and there we go. So the server has now said yes. Some client has established to me. We get a bit of status text here saying yes, I'm connected, and I'm waiting for a request. If I toggle the go bit, then the TCP server receives hello world. On the server, a nice setting here, I've got server echo enabled, so it echoes back that to the device. So there's a TCP client set up in what, 30 seconds. We can do a bit of a performance test on that. So we automate this a little bit. I'll create a new flag. And the do parsed output from this particular block, and it's obviously all documented. It's basically, I've read a string and I'm ready for processing. So if I interlock it with that flag, and we download again, we can see now we're polling the device at a fair old pace, and depending on the server performance, of course, we're getting about 100 transactions a second, so it'll be super responsive. So there's a TCP client, which traditionally there may be 60, 80 hours worth of work in there, and we've effected that in no time. Another job I was involved in, and again, it was the reason for creating a smart object was a chap that needed to test oil valves for going to oil rigs. So each valve needed to be cycled, and we needed to measure the torque and the required to activate the valve, and he needed very, very fast logging. The logging native in the IX developer is terrifically capable, but we're limited to 1 second. We needed the whole test might have taken only I don't know, 6 or 8 seconds. So we needed to log data a lot faster than that. So to that end, we created a object called fast logging. Fast logging is supremely simple to use. There is simply one function block called logger. So we'll go ahead and insert that. Not there. File name. So this is a name we can create ourselves. So we'll call it my log. How many points of data am I going to log? So this particular SER, Smart Engineering Resource, can log up to 10 points. So I'll just log 3 for this one. Headings are the column headers that I'd like to use. So if I just type headings there, auto declare will create a variable of the correct data type for me. Likewise, data. These are the 10 data points that I can log. And again, it's created an array of 10 reals. Storage location. This is an enumeration. So the reason I like to use enumerations is it reduces typo errors. So we'll fully qualify this on fast logging dot storage dot, and we can store locally within the X2 control itself, and that's in the FTP area. We can log direct to an SD card, or we can log direct to a USB stick. For the purposes of this, and so I can FTP it off quickly, I'll log locally. And the outputs, we don't especially need to populate those. Okay, so in my headings, this is where, so each heading can be 20 characters of a string. So this may be the force, maybe wanting to log and the pulse position. So that's those populated. The data, this array here is where your program will write live data into this at I/O speed, so all the way down to 1 millisecond. It's simply a case of turning on the bit. We keep track of the number of rows we've logged, and we keep track of the file size. So because we're logging at 1 millisecond intervals, we're going to create thousands of rows very quickly and vast file sizes. That's why it's more suited to short bursts of logging rather than logging motors operation over days and weeks. So we should have captured a good amount of data there. So I'll open up FileZilla and I will connect to the X2 control. And there's the log I've just created. So the name my log has been prefixed with a time and date. So I'll download that locally. There she is. So the 3 rows I wanted to log, I call it force and position, and so in that short spell of time we've probably accumulated, there we go, 29,000 rows. Again, the ease and speed at which we do this is the key. You know, it's not taking you any time to develop this. Last object I'd like to show you, and again, it was as a result of some market trends we're seeing in the UK here. This is an IX Smart Engineering object. So I'll VNC2 my panel. This was an extension to the recipe functionality. In production factories over here, there's often it's non-English speakers. So the more functionality we can make graphical, the better. So here's the standard IX recipe functionality, which is superb, and this is simply an extension to that. So as I click on the recipes, I can now associate each recipe with a picture. So the operator is looking for a picture that they recognise rather than having to read. We also I've also included an ability to sort alphabetically or reverse alphabetically. And if you've got dozens of recipes, hundreds of recipes, we can perform a like query on that. So ch will return all the chips. So it's an extension to the native IX recipe function. All the standard IX functionality can still be used. We can import, export recipes. The standard load and save are still used, and the offline editing. So it's simply an extension to that. And I hope that gives you a flavour into what smart engineering is all about. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that. How do you get started if you're interested in this? We are here for you. But you can always get in touch with us in our at mail or in our webpage. We have for packaging sites. We also have in the smart engineering in our smart studio. You can also visit that. So thank you very much once again and have a very nice day. Goodbye.